Thanks, Andreas. Thanks, Josef. Very insightful session from my perspective on what exactly Business Data Cloud is about and how it brings value to customers. Certainly, from our perspective, there are still many questions open. And what we would like now to do is to have like a reaction session on this, what also Andreas and Josef shared with us, going in some areas deeper into the topics and bringing also more details to you. What you should be aware of is that at this moment in time, still several questions are not answered yet. Even SAP cannot answer them immediately or still needs to fine-tune how things will be. So when you get this, just take it with some soul to it, that it still might change, and that certainly over the next quarters we will also see updates to it. But I'm not alone in that session because I have Claudia with me.
Thanks, Mark, for introduction. My name is Claudia Quilitz. I'm responsible for the German analytics team and also a solution architect in analytics projects.
I hope, meanwhile, you understood that Business Data Cloud is not, let's say, the next SAP Datasphere, or that SAP Datasphere is just rebranded with some new functionality. And we have brought this architecture slide of Business Data Cloud with us and would actually like to go over these different areas of Business Data Cloud and give you more details to it. And I think from my perspective, Claudia, the most interesting part that is also perhaps a revival of old functionality is the idea of inside apps and data products. How do you see that with regards to data products?
Yes, exactly. So what's definitely interesting for most of the viewers is that what's now with Datasphere, with SAC, and that's what we can also provide is that all this product stays the same. So you can still work with them as you are used to it. And for existing Datasphere customer or SAC customer, nothing changes. They can still use it. And later on, all their tenants will directly go to Business Data Cloud. So that's really important. What's a little bit new, in my opinion, is the data product topics. So SAP will provide complete, let's say, packages that then on top you can visualize in analytical apps. And buy it completely from the scratch.
Okay, but just my first thought was when hearing about data products, it's like a revival of business content in BW. Is that what we can expect from this?
No, it's much more than business content. So it's really the complete data flow and workflow within everything completed. And so of course you can also, like for business content, you can also adapt it and enhance it. But what SAP provides here is really a complete pre-built package up to the dashboard on top. So as an analytical app.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And now that we also heard, well, there will be an object store. Can you share more detail on how that object store will work? Is it again HANA? Is it not HANA? Do we now see, because I've seen that on LinkedIn and social media, that questions were about, well, actually HANA is now dead and we have something new. Is that the case, or how do we feel about that right now?
No, so really that's the good point, and also regarding costs. So with that strategy, so there's a potential cost reduction for users for Datasphere, that not all data is now in the HANA database. So we have the object store, and it's replicated there, and only the data that you need for analytical purposes, it's in the HANA.
Mm-hmm. And I think the object store is a HANA data lake, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is the new concept, so to say, that SAP brings in of adding this HANA data lake where the structured and unstructured data can go in, with all these data products made available in there so that these can then be consumed. Speaking or coming back to data products and then inside apps, those belong together, right? Or can I just get them separately?
No, it's all completed. So all the logic, it coming off the different line of business, it's all combined in one product. So it's the database in the data product, and on top it's the visualization, and that's one complete package.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is very important for people to understand that you will not be able to just get the data or just get the apps. It's something that is, so to say, end-to-end delivered by SAP, and also administered by SAP, with these additions that also more context is provided to data. So that is also, from my perspective, the major aspect towards the business content, where you basically had to activate that by yourself and then build on it. Here you will get this really end-to-end.
But of course, as an addition to that, you can also build your own data product. That's something you can, let's say, buy something already predefined, and on top you can then expand it and make a copy out of it and adapt it. But you can, of course, build your complete own data product from the scratch. So using ZCDS views, for example, using your BW system and build out of it the data product and use that. That's also possible.
Yeah, and for anyone thinking, okay, what technology lies behind data products? I think that are just CDS views, right? CDS.
Yeah.
And as you were mentioning, buying this, I think that is also something very important to know about. How will be the pricing and the licensing of these inside apps, and with it then the data products? Well, you will have two aspects to each inside app. You will first of all have the connect to the individual line of business where you take these inside apps from. So be it SuccessFactors for HR or S4HANA, or Ariba, for example. Yes. And license cost will connect to the individual unit of this line of business, so of this source. In SuccessFactors, it would be the number of your users in SuccessFactors. In S4HANA, it would be your FUE, and depending on how much you have there, the price for the individual inside apps will then vary.
It's similar like SAP DataSphere is licensed right now. It's a similar concept.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so for buying this, the orientation is to the source. But then for running these inside apps, you will then need BDC capacity units, so Business Data Cloud capacity units. And they will also come with an attach of what is, so to say, necessary to run these. So our understanding is, I think, that you will not be able to run only parts of Business Data Cloud for certain inside apps.
Exactly.
So this is, I think, important that if we look at the subscription model or in general at the commercial aspects, that you will need to subscribe to Business Data Cloud. Right now, it's not planned. What we understand from SAP that you will be able to get Business Data Cloud via BTP EA, by BTP credits. You need to get a subscription. And with the subscription, you can either go for individual parts of Business Data Cloud. So just get an Analytics Cloud, just get a DataSphere, or get both. Yeah. But as soon as you want to go into inside apps and really make use of the original end state of Business Data Cloud, you will need to have the object store in, you will need to have SAP DataSphere, and probably also Analytics Cloud. Yeah, so this will be complementary.
What you can mention also is that really using the data products, it makes absolutely sense to use also DataSphere, but because only with DataSphere you can use them. Because for visualization, you are not using the data products directly, you're using the DataSphere analytical model. And so it's really even more important now to move to DataSphere. You can, of course, and that's something we will discuss later on, use your BW system and make, let's say, smaller steps to DataSphere, but it's really really important to have a migration plan to DataSphere.
Absolutely, yes. And that is then again also where you, from an architectural perspective, need to take also the decision of if you want to have like the majority of data in your data lake as cold storage, yeah, or if you need to bring this for analytical purposes into DataSphere, where it goes into the hot storage, is more cost sensitive, yeah. That is, I think, quite crucial on that. So, coming back to our overall architecture, we now covered the data products, we covered the inside apps. One last thing about inside apps. What I got is now inside apps is not like inside apps. What I heard is they will start now first with Analytic Cloud inside apps, but then there will also be pro code apps, right?
Exactly. At the moment, and that's what you find in the slide, it's all developed in SAC. But in a later state, probably after Q3, there will be a possibility to use Fiori apps as well.
Mm-hmm. So that will be then also a further extension of what there is. Perhaps we already touched on it, but also stressing this, if you have now thoughts of getting DataSphere up and running, to move to DataSphere, if you already are on the migration path to SAC, there's no need for you to stop on that and now wait for Business Data Cloud or do something different. What we heard from SAP is that yes, even existing instances will be probably around Q3, Q4, be able to be moved into Business Data Cloud. So there is no need that you now say, hey, let's wait for this. Until then, new customers will only be able, so to say, to get SAC and DataSphere in Business Data Cloud. But there's certainly, it's not a migration path, but it's something where SAP plans without significant efforts to bring DataSphere and SAC.
Exactly. SAP is taking care of that, and you can be sure that all your developments you are doing right now in SAC and DataSphere are not useless. You can still develop, and everything is then combined in Business Data Cloud.
Yeah. Okay, SAC DataSphere covered. I think that will be also very interesting to see, for example, how planning will really turn out in that aspect. Joseph already shared a bit on this, Monte Carlo, right, with its aspects to it. Databricks. I mean, that were quite big news, right, that SAP is now bringing its own OEM version of Databricks into the SAP space. So it's not a generic Databricks version, but it's SAP Databricks. It will come with some missing features. For example, the marketplace will not be part of Databricks because the overall data marketplace from DataSphere will be used. Questions that we also had is, okay, how does that now work with brownfield Databricks? So if a customer already has Databricks in its architecture, what we heard is that in Q3, this will be coming as an integration via data sharing, because that is this open standard that SAP is with also some proud implementing to make sure that this can integrate. So here, I think we will see that. And what we heard, we need to see if that then also becomes tools. But what became obvious for SAP is that there will also be these setups where the OEM version of SAP Databricks will not be part of this licensed bundle of Business Data Cloud, but so to say, you leave this out and take the brownfield Databricks into your Business Data Cloud and then take from there the data into your object store. One last thing, and for me this was kind of the most important part actually, is the BW has a comeback, so to say, in Business Data Cloud.
Exactly. So there is integrated in Business Data Cloud, there is a version of BW, it's called Public Cloud Edition. And so you can say SAP is shifting your on-prem version directly into the cloud. So, and what's coming up with that is that your maintenance is longer. So if you have BW on HANA 7.5, it's now under maintenance until 2030. And for BW for HANA, it's even until 2040. And so that's a huge step for the customers, because a lot of customers right now are struggling where to go with their BW system. They think about, okay, should I migrate to DataSphere? Should I wait a little bit longer? And so with that, now integrating that into Business Data Cloud, you can go, let's say, step by step to DataSphere. And so that's really a huge opportunity for the customers, that they can now start building data products in their BW system, and then find even more use cases directly in DataSphere and start with that. And so that's really important.
And a major aspect to it is that as it is cold storage, you can also bring all your history that you have built up over time in your BW systems. You can bring this into the object store, which is always a topic when discussing about DataSphere and sizing and so on, where you have this, you could also integrate their data lake, but certainly it was always a major aspect of, okay, how big is my BW system and so on. By the way, how big is your BW system? This migration to a private cloud edition of BW is right now only foreseen for up to 12 terabytes of BW systems. Other than that, there's also an option. I think this TPO version. This is then something very specific where we also need to see how this is then thought of by SAP to bring this into Business Data Cloud. But right now, 12 terabyte is, so to say, the upper limit that SAP foresees. If you are still on DB2 with your 7.5 system, bad news, you still need to do this migration from DB2 to HANA database, and only then you can do this lift and shift into Business Data Cloud.
And of course, it makes sense to do your homework and do some housekeeping activities, because as we already explained the license model, it makes sense to don't have so many data in your BW system. So that's a chance to really check what you really need in your existing BW system.
Mm-hmm. From a pricing perspective, this lift and shift, we can hopefully assume that this will be done then or covered by the hyperscalers. Yeah. So for the moment, at least, we do not expect extra cost from this lift and shift. And this critical aspect of maintenance extension, I think that is a major aspect, because many customers right now have a BW system that is not capable to just be brought into DataSphere, right? Yeah. There are still technical limitations.
Yeah, especially if you have lots of Z-coding, ABAP developments and stuff like this. And so you really need to go step by step.
Yeah, or integrated planning. Yeah, you can also bring this with your BW into private cloud. So this will also be possible. And when you have this extension of up until 2030, you can really make use of this time of developing these data products, but then finding, so to say, this transformation towards data sphere, and with that also having more opportunities to do.
Yeah. And what you can also mention, because that will come up probably as a question, you can still use in BW your mixed modeling. You can still use Eclipse or directly to use HANA views. You can use your CDS views, and that's something you still can do. So it's not a new BW system. It's still, let's say, the same functionalities. It's still the same stack, but it's just moved into the cloud.
Yeah. So for me, this is kind of a major aspect of Business Data Cloud for all these customers that were struggling what to do now with their BW, having limitations on how to go on. And well, actually, 2030 is for 7.5, but you could, in principle, also decide to do this lift and shift into BW4 HANA. Of course, then also with these activities that are needed, perhaps to make your BW 7.5 ready for BW4. Right.
But you can also do your migration directly in Business Data Cloud. So that's the third option.
Yeah, exactly. And then, well, over time, when you free up, so to say, your BW from existing tasks and bring that to DataSphere, then these capacity units in Business Data Cloud will also be freed up, because you will have the flexibility to decrease sizing on your BW. That is something that you could not do if you run in parallel with other hyperscalers, and data providers. So here you have the flexibility. SAP offers this to you. And then you can use these capacity units on other use cases. For example, inside apps. And I think that is something very useful, that over time you gradually can reduce your BW until, well, 2030 for a regular 7.5. You are kind of happy then to leave BW and then use all these capacity units in a new way.
That's also a great plus, to really have a flexible licensing in the end and decide what you want to do.
Yeah. So we see probably not all your questions have been answered. We also still have a few questions open, but this is kind of the first take on what we have now got presented from SAP on Business Data Cloud. Certainly, we have already seen that. There's also a roadmap for Business Data Cloud, and I think especially Q2 and Q3 will be very exciting, for Business Data Cloud customers, because a lot of features will be coming in these 2 quarters. Q2 is a lot about new inside apps. Q3 then coming also the option for existing SAC and DataSphere customers to bring their instances into Business Data Cloud. Then also the integration with Brownfield Databricks. And then what we will also see towards Q4 is that SAC and DataSphere will not be anymore separate, standalone, let's say, subscriptions, but they will already appear under the Business Data Cloud environment, so to say. You can still subscribe to them separately, but this will also then take change. Last thing that we perhaps also did not cover, if you're now thinking, hey, data products and buying all of this, how does this work with my S4HANA system? It's not yet clear if Business Data Cloud will also support S4HANA on-premise. This is something what we got is under discussion. For private cloud, there will be configurational aspects in the data products that you can take care of, because we see in private cloud customizations. So there will be opportunity to take care of these. that is so much of what we have today for you to share more on Business Data Cloud. If you think that is something you actually want to spend more time on and also understand, well, what should be now the roadmap for my data and analytics landscape? How to proceed now with Analytics Cloud, with DataSphere, how to put that into context for Business Data Cloud. How can I now use best the opportunities that the lift and shift of your BW system brings to Business Data Cloud? Then we offer to you a discovery workshop, 4 hours, where we really intensively look into this, and bring this down for your individual use case. And then also already thinking about use cases that you could bring as a pilot into Business Data Cloud. Thank you.